The generic cold open monster finally grabs Mark and, instead of crushing him, decides to spike him into the ground because, this is a catch and release desert?
I win!
Premature
That's the second time you celebrated too soon.
stealing my lines and forcing a premature celebration narration.
The GDA thanks you and your son for your assistance.
Child abuse. How convenient that his suit burned in seemingly random places except his crotch. Not that I wanted to see cartoon junk. I'm just saying, realistically, it would be on the menu.
7 minutes, 42 seconds.
A new record. Nice work.
Are you telling me there isn't a single fire-based hero who could outlast Mark in lava? And if this is just for Mark, it's a PB, Cecil, not a record. Well, that was incredibly dangerous. If Mark had landed an inch to the side, a disregard for teenagers in his care would no longer be the only thing Cecil has in common with Professor X. The almighty internet, benevolent be its future dominance of us all, says that lava gets up to 2,200 degrees Fahrenheit, whereas planetary re-entry can reach 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit. So how did the costume survive re-entry this much better than the lava? Again, to clarify, it's not about the animated junk.
I could have done it faster, but I got lost on the way back again.
Cute joke, but why the hell doesn't that suit have built-in GPS or a funky heads-up display? Iron Man had it back in 2008, and he basically built that shit.
In a cave with a box of scraps!
Believing that what the icebergs really need in 2025 is more human f***ery. Not pictured in this scene, the 1,000-foot-tall tsunami that should have killed Cecil, his team, and a few hundred befuddled penguins who were simply trying to finish up their choreography to a random pop music mashup while being narrated at by Morgan Freeman.
Over the last 90 days, Mark's speed has increased 65%, his endurance 70%, and his strength, and we checked this wasn't a mistake, 138%.
Yay! Numbers that don't actually mean anything without a proper frame of reference and will not be shown in any meaningful way with fancy bar charts or graphs for me to sin. Good job wiping all that sweat from the brow that is currently covered by a mask.
I'm trying to give you the finger right now, and I can't.
Oh man, that's your favorite finger.
It's my favorite finger!
It's his favorite finger, Cecil.
Episode has time for this.
Sir, believe it or not, but somebody appears to be stealing the Declaration of Independence.
Getting this close to summoning a Nicolas Cage.
We're gonna kick your ass now.
Not giving your suspects the chance to surrender before immediately doing a violence on them. It's almost like there should be some kind of, I don't know, force in place to like police crimes rather than resorting to justice via superhero ass kickings. I have no clue how you would accurately date something like the Declaration of Independence, but I am sure it's old enough to turn to 1,777 carcinogenic dust particles of freedom as soon as it was violently kicked out of someone's hand.
Stop being weird about it. Ask her out.
It's more complicated than that.
Unlike this sin for having a drawn-out conversation in the middle of a fight cliche, which is very not complicated.
Multi-Paul!
While I'm inwardly humored by the witty consistency here, I'm suddenly questioning the numbers on Multi-Paul and Duplicate's costumes. If they're direct copies, by what mechanism are they changing the number each time? So f***ing help you in the comments if you say magic or read the comic. Also, if 2 dies, does the next clone become the new 2, or is 2 then lost forever? And if 2 duplicates itself, which we know can happen, isn't that technically 2.1? And if so, why math? Duplicated also. I'm assuming that 0 is the original Kate, but why would you ever advertise this to your enemies? What use is being numbered anyway? And I guess no one on the team has ever questioned the number logic, or else they'd know that she wasn't really dead, which honestly they should have assumed. Oh no, my fiance's brother is attacking one of my allies because he thinks my fiance is dead, but she isn't because she just faked her death alarm is going off. This almost never happens. Rex is taking an absolute beating, and I would 100% feel some kind of way about his well-being if I hadn't already seen him shot in the head and survive. Nothing like completely disposable blood-filled protein packs to feed your audience's gore obsession.
They said you were dead.
You, out of everyone, should know how hard we are to kill.
I remember the comment section politely exploding when we send the show for Kate dying when she could have just kept her original self safe. And I also remember the comment section exploding even more politely, I might add, when we send the show for revealing that Kate did just that. I mean, seriously, how do I sleep at night being such a hypocrite? Well, the thing is, one of my duplicates wrote the first sin and another duplicate wrote the second. The real me never writes sins and is therefore never wrong. See how great that works?
You let me and Ray think you were dead? What the hell, man?
It was her decision.
She wanted to disappear for a while.
A decision you kept hidden despite being her boss. A decision that couldn't possibly have been biased by all the sex you're having. It's almost like the Guardians need an HR department to prevent some of this blatant conflict of disinterest that's going on here.
I had to save Rex from like 100 multi-polls.
Except you didn't save Rex. Kate did. So here's a sin for stealing credit.
But the real bad guys got away.
Yeah, sometimes that happens.
Especially when it's me and I'm just f***ing around talking relationship drama with a misogynist instead of actually doing the job I dropped out of college to do.
But remember,
Mark, that was an abysmal throw. Your brother is not 20 feet tall, you sudden superpower reveal baiter.
We're both rejoining the Guardians, effective immediately.
Also,
I guess the Immortal proposed on the way over here? I mean, there definitely wasn't a ring on her finger during the fight with Multipole. I suppose it's possible, but it seems like weird timing to... Wait, it wasn't on her finger when Monster Girl hugged her? Does he even know he proposed? Let's take a second to look at this map. For starters, what the f did you do to Maine? Put it on a diet? Why is it so skinny? Second, Donald's about to say,
They do seem to be centered around major cities.
but you've got dots in northwest Arkansas, South Dakota, eastern Colorado, southeast Oregon, northern Idaho, southeast Washington, Mississippi, western Indiana, and more places where you can barely find a Walmart, let alone a major city. Thirdly, Delaware.
I made him promise not to use his powers until we all had time to talk about it.
Because kids are famous for being reliable promise keepers. Was it a pinky promise, Mark, or did you bribe him with screen time?
The only guy without superpowers or a bangin' cyborg body, and I just beat both your butts for the 3rd time in a row.
William would be the literal definition of incredible at, no, seriously, how is he beating them, Sins?
How are we gonna get back to campus?
Isn't Mark still attempting to keep his identity secret? That's still a thing, right? Or did I miss a season?
Huh? I'll get it!
Wait, I'm not finished.
Call me argumentative, but I wish Debbie was more concerned about her purple alien child who is still partially purple opening the door to an Amazon driver or religious solicitor. Okay, I feel like the show's deliberately trolling me now. You don't need to push the pump thingy down on the French press if you're just going to magically make the coffee appear as you don't even need the fucking French press.
Are you going to college?
No, don't be silly. That's just a hobby I'm considering. I'll be using my powers to solve world hunger instead of frivolously French pressing caffeinated bev.
I signed up for part-time classes. I start next week.
I've been thinking about this a lot.
Skip.
I don't work for you. Cecil, how many times do we have to have this conversation?
At least thrice a season, apparently, which is approximately thrice more per season than I required after season 1.
Show me seismic.
How did you not know the instant he escaped? That's a massive jailbreak. The Immortal had a future brother-in-law team member murder beep booper set up in a log f***ing cabin in what I can only assume was the middle of snow Canada. How is this news?
Every superhero in America has been abducted, except for 2.
And we'll never find out why Mark and Eve were missed other than a presumed villainous respect for romantic B-plots. Also, couldn't you call in some Canadian superheroes or Mexican superheroes? Hell, you could call in some Alaskan or Hawaiian heroes, Cecil. The map of geological events from earlier only hit the lower 48 states. Also, Oliver appears to be having a great time playing a blank screen, but we'll be glossing over that because of this cool reflective reaction shot. P.S. We won't.
So you're only asking me out now because the other me, who is not me, told you how miserable she was?
Man, this awkwardness could have totally been avoided if only Mark had some friends who he could bounce the tell Eve everything idea off of. I'm sure they'd tell him it was dumb and manipulative and also dumb. Oh well, his losses are also loss. Kids. Also, good thing this house only has windows on its front side, or Debbie'd be looking pretty stupid waiting out here all day while Oliver snuck out the back.
It took months for me and my friends to learn all of your particular vibrations.
All for me to realize that it was absolute f***ing nonsense. I mean, how would that even work for Monster Girl, who presumably has different vibrations depending on her form? Hell, Robot could have 3 distinct vibrations depending on what Rudy is doing. How would it even work for the flying heroes? And how would I manage to pull this off all simultaneously? I don't think there's enough vibration jargon in the multiverse to make this a believable villain's plan. The rest of Doc Seismic's speech, presumably. Also, Doc Seismic is teamed up with cave bugs capable of creating a material that can trap every superhero in America. Not a single one is able to break free of this every hero in one place and not a single applicable power shall be seen. The Viltrumites don't need to invade. Earth is plenty capable of conquering itself.
What is that sound?
That's the sound of the infinite possibilities of matter manifestation and manipulation being criminally misused. It's a delicate score that will accompany the rest of the episode, season, and show. Also, how is their arrival a surprise to him? I don't know about Eve, but he's definitely met Mark. I imagine the hero called Invincible, who has thrown him in jail once already, would be pretty high on his heroes currently in an unbreakable bubble checklist.
It's my old friends, token diversity and gender stereotype.
Not specifying which statement applies to whom, so I can confidently know who to be offended for and by how much. Small point, but if Eve used both hands to thrust upwards, but is now only thrusting from one hand, shouldn't she now be spinning counterclockwise?
How does a nobody like Doc Seismic pull shit like this?
Because you put him in a regular prison cell, genius. You gotta put him in a special one. Everyone knows that. Plastic for Magneto, kryptonite for Superman. I don't know, put him in a gelatin cell or something. Look, I'm not here to do your job for you. What I'm trying to say is you suck at it.
I wanted to go out and help until they got back.
Nice scene, but shouldn't it be at the end of the episode instead of in the middle and disturbing the shit happening that I at least 50% care about? I'm sure they'll eventually get to it now that the trash talking is done, but why aren't they already trying to free the rest of the heroes to even the odds? At least one of them should be trying.
Free the others! I'll cover you!
Okay, I just complained about this, but I wanted to complain about it way sooner, so the sin still stands.
Goodbye.
I've often wondered how long it takes for Eve to fire off a shot. Now we know it's precisely longer than a dramatic pause in the 2 syllables it takes to say goodbye, evidently. Remember when Donald listed all those fun numbers explaining how Mark was now tough enough to take on a Viltrumite? This very same episode doesn't.
Wake Eve up! She can get us out of these things!
He says, with a knowledge apparently gleaned from a secret magic genie granting wishes and unicorns he keeps in his jockstrap.
No final quips before your deaths?
Eat your own
Rex does not deserve this sin removal.
Goodbye forever.
I don't think so.
Cecil deploying last-ditch secret countermeasure that will expose his shady dealings that will piss off Mark and kickstart the conflict of the season ex machina? F***ing what? The sacks that are impenetrable from the inside are just openable from the outside? I don't care how deep in the earth you evolved. How the f*** do you get selectively pressured into creating that convenient nonsense? And now, because the script says so, the bugs that Invincible and Adam Eve couldn't manage to put a single scratch on will be beaten back by much less powerful heroes.
We won, my d***'s out, and I don't care.
Title of my sex tape?
Are you working with D.A. Sinclair? You don't waste people like that. You reform them.
Mark being surprised that the purpose of prison isn't merely to warehouse criminals, but to reform them.
Viltrumites have conquered thousands of planets.
Post-credit scenes that blow their load before 4 names worth of credits have had the time to credit. Just put it in the actual episode instead of giving me multiple confusing climaxes. Yes, I am fine with that phrasing.
Hello, Nolan. Hello? Oh, I get it. You're ignoring me.
Giving Nolan yet another superpower I can be envious of. If one is going to sell fish outdoors, and one does not have a contingency plan for fish-eating birds to fly away with said fish, then one is not a very good outdoor fish salesperson. Starting the episode mid-flashback, instead of with Cecil rummaging through boxes to find his long-lost red skull cod piece. Episode does not flash back properly. How exactly does pulling your dress off reveal a mask and pull your hair back at the same time? You usually need a Sailor Moon transformation for a costume change this drastic.
You forget the simple power of the human body.
The simple power of her human body drove Cecil to pull out a taser.
We shall return to the natural, the divine.
Getting your baseball movies mixed up with your John Waters movies, and also realizing that John Waters never made a baseball movie, and that seems sin-worthy.
And fear of death will never keep us from our destiny.
Sounds cool and profound, but fear itself doesn't always keep someone from attaining their goals. What keeps people from attaining their goals 100% of the time, however, is actual death. Cecil survives this.
They should be in prison or dead.
They should be dead.
Get your head out of your ass. They just saved our lives.
Then let me express my gratitude.
I'd be remiss if I didn't remove a sin for this amazing flashback, giving us a moment where Cecil was like Mark is now. This is how you use a flashback. You give us key insight into a character that contrasts with how they've developed in present day. This show's writing is still amazing, so remove a sin before Mark fucks up another relationship and annoys me.
Good luck. His last cellmate left in a bucket.
Sounds like we're overlooking the fact that clearly his last cellmate was one of the Wonder Twins.
Do you mind?
Why did you make this poor dude squeeze into the room if you're just gonna ask him to leave 5 seconds later? Do you realize how hard he has to work to get in there?
This place was your rehabilitation.
It was supposed to be my punishment.
Thinking prison can't, or shouldn't, be both.
I don't threaten.
No? Because you're scaring the shit out of me right now.
Not calling bullshit on Cecil's angry teen-induced fear pooping when you know he faced down Omni-Man with nothing but a ray gun and a teleporter.
Is that all you got?
Why did you have to ask that, kid?
The following fight occurs because Mark is traumatized by the sudden reemergence of robot corpses that threatened him and William. And because Cecil is the daddy, we all have issues with. So here's a sin for men at large, refusing to just go to therapy.
You gonna add a shirt to those pants?
Math. Also, Amanda would be the voice of reason at TVSins.
With the control destroyed, it can't be turned off. I'm attempting to block the frequency.
I understand the fact that the sound is now never ending for Mark, but I still don't understand why Robot is waiting until now to do this.
Rudy, get this f***ing thing out of my head. Now.
Invincible being a dick to Rudy after Rudy just saved his life.
I know things are weird between us right now.
Not weird for me because I'm skipping the f*** out of here.
I also didn't fall apart the minute I got hurt.
The person whose hero name might as well be cannon fodder really just criticized someone that doesn't have the luxury of dying more than once for being scared of dying.
The Guardians are the best superheroes in the world!
Citation needed.
Cecil let me live after what I did on Mars, and my bed is a race car, so I think Cecil.
Having race car beds be the tipping point for loyalty.
Sinclair's not in prison?
That is the most messed up thing I've ever heard.
Is it though? I know William hasn't been at every superhero battle, but he's seen enough, not to mention whatever stories Mark has regaled him with, that this should not even be in the top 10 of messed up things William has heard or seen.
If you killed him, you'd be just like him.
No, not just like him. The circumstances of the killings does matter. It's okay to accept nuance in the discussion of should superheroes kill. One can be against Mark murdering people without putting him in the exact same category as Psycho Killer. Qu'est-ce que c'est?
I know, it doesn't compare to Italy, right? But this place does make their own pasta.
It's an Italian restaurant. The ability to make pasta shouldn't be that impressive of a feature.
Actually wasn't sure this would ever happen.
You mean this comically large candle?
Are they special needs? You never mentioned.
And it really feels like that's something she would have shared if she really wanted to. F***ing real estate kind of boyfriend whose name I'll never remember.
Here, you will learn the fundamentals of construction. It's not as easy as it looks.
Not really sure who out there is saying that any type of architecture looks easy, but said who should be made to feel like an idiot, because they are.
And Darkwing?
What about him?
Well, it's just, after the DuckTales reboot paved the way for a Darkwing Duck reboot, we haven't heard anything for a while. Donald, like myself, is probably worried if it's still happening. Not leading with this move at the start of the fight. Why bother throwing the thing into the ocean earlier when you had this move tucked away? Did it need to charge? Was there a cooldown?
We can be the good guys, or we can be the guys that save the world. We can't be both.
I blame Unbreakable for this notion that anyone cares enough to watch people talk about what it means to be a superhero, as opposed to just watching the actual superheroing. Did we learn nothing from Glass, people?
Can we talk?
Clearly. You're talking right now, Mark.
I know you think being friends or having my back or whatever is enough for now, but it's not.
I know the episode thinks if it saves its skip moments for during the credits that I might be a little more lenient. However, you made me sit through f***ing credits just to watch a skip moment, and I don't appreciate it. At least 30 sins of me not appreciating it. No wonder this Earth has so many sea monsters. With a Bruce Almighty-sized moon like that, the tides have to be all kinds of f***ed up. Invincible spends the first 4 minutes and 44 seconds of this episode attempting to have their own Bill and Frank moment, and it f***ing works. Sometimes imitation really is the sincerest form of flattery. But also, after this magnificent opening, the rest of the episode is a smorgasbord of Invincible struggling as a brother, Invincible struggling as a son, Invincible struggling as a boyfriend, and the Mahler twins are back. Not saying it's all bad, but it doesn't live up to the opening. Having money problems and choosing to rob a bank instead of selling the high-tech superhero gear that is currently sitting on the f***ing kitchen table. Landlords. Choosing to use your powers to cook a burger instead of simply just flipping the burger. Packaging eviction notices like they're Hallmark greeting cards.
You promised you wouldn't use your powers without me.
I'm not using my powers without you. You're here.
Yeah, but didn't Oliver use his powers to fly to Mark? Violation upheld, penalty 1 sin.
He's so young, Mark.
Yeah, but he's tough.
Mistaking physical toughness for emotional stability.
Eve? Oh my god, I thought that was you.
Every character we saw graduate high school together end up at the same college together. Cliché.
I'm happy for you both.
I didn't want it to mess up anything between us.
This would be a touching moment and all if there were ever a prior moment where we saw that Eve and Amber were close friends.
Our worlds were too different, but you and him, that's where you both live.
Yes, because coworkers dating has always ended up working out. There are probably actors on this f***ing show that contradict that line of dialogue.
Technically, the deed is in my
We're
name.
gonna make a mint when we finally sell it.
Selling your valuable real estate for a single herb.
We can find you a room before the others take first pick. You want a window, right?
He says, a moment before taking her into a room with no windows.
When my parents discovered I had powers, they went all in on it. Suddenly, instead of soccer in the backyard, I'm learning chokeholds and bomb defusals.
And despite all of that, said parents don't spring for LASIK or at least contacts.
My best assassin rots in one of your disgusting American prisons, and you do nothing about it!
Hey, our prisons may be dangerous, underfunded, overcrowded, and for-profit, but they're not necessarily disgusting. Probably.
You are now a member of the Order, and you will handle this issue in your territory.
HOAs.
Remember our deal.
I know. No using my powers in public without permission.
There is way too much wiggle room in that rule, especially if it's for a kid. What's to stop him from flying to an unpopulated desert and f***ing going to town on it? And then finding out there are actually dune people living underneath the desert, and now Oliver has caused the stock on spice to drop so low that the dune people will be just as bad off as Discount Bill and Frank. F***ing hell, Oliver. Think before you act. Also, Mark has made Art make Oliver a suit, as if that won't give Oliver any more incentive to break the no powers in public rule. And you know what this means. That's right. Mark is just as fiscally and f***ing responsible for destroying the dune people's homes. Chaos!
Kid Omni-Man is here!
Despite how insensitive an idea this is for a superhero name, the name also just simply sucks, and Oliver should know better. F***ing Oliver.
It's going to take a long time and a lot of work for everyone to forgive him.
I'm not so sure about that. Endeavor did a lot of f***ed up shit. Not sure anyone will ever wait. I just went full on My Hero Academia. No. We are not sending My Hero Academia again, no matter how many cupcakes the Sins writers bake me. But please, keep baking me cupcakes.
Wait, I haven't figured out a new name yet.
Mark and Oliver spend time arguing over these semantics instead of helping all the people about to be barbecued to death.
You should get black currant, dark cherry, wet earth.
Excitement?
Nolan wasn't a travel writer, and he's not dead.
Having this conversation in public.
Are you guys gonna mate now?
Out of everything that has happened in this episode, I am now most curious how the alien kid, Oliver, knows the Earth word mate and its meaning.
Oh, look, you boys are on the news.
Were you watching the news during your makeout session? Because, not to judge, but that's a little weird, Paul. Also, dramatically timed news position is dramatically timed.
We don't know who this new hero is, but social media is referring to him as Invincible.
Legit news trying to turn social media news into legit news.
I don't think I can do this. How can I be a son, a brother, a boyfriend, and a superhero all at the same time? I'm just gonna let everyone down again.
Throwing a Spider-Man level pity party. We will find out Angstrom Levy is behind this orb camera thingy, and based on the events he is currently viewing, I can't figure out if the show is trying to tell me that Levy is a villain or just a straight-up perv. And I don't really like either choice. Sterling K. Brown deserves better.
But the safest place to stand is where lightning's already struck. Because lightning never strikes the same place twice, you know?
This is the most obvious death foreshadowing since Obi-Wan took the high ground. High ground.
That was easier than I thought.
Being concerned about how difficult it'll be to get into a place, but then making it more difficult by coming through a wall instead of opening a f***ing door.
What? We deserve the right to murder their whole team.
Out of everything that has happened in this episode, including that Oliver asked his mom if she was f***ing Paul bit, I'm now most curious how Mauler Twin #2 measures how one deserves to murder an entire team of people.
Please,
never save my life like that again.
Look out!
Complaining about your life being saved.
Then I guess it's settled. Just be careful.
Stealing Batman's disappearing in the middle of a conversation technique.
He's tough for a guy with boy in his name.
That's boyist.
You guys are in big trouble.
Invincible made such a case earlier with Art about how Oliver had no clue where he was going, but yet this time around he finds the missile silo with 0 issues. The episode doesn't logistic with Oliver correctly.
Get out of here! I can handle this!
The Mahler twins beating the out of Invincible from Season 2, Episode 1 has entered the chat.
I'm not saying we're gonna lose, but just in case.
I'm not saying it's impossible that the Mahler twins walked over to the control panel to launch the missile while no one does anything to stop them, but I am saying it's impossible that the Mahler twins walked over to the control panel to launch the missile while no one does anything to stop them.
Like I said before, you guys are in big trouble.
Not coming up with at least 2 catchphrases before entering a fight with supervillains. Detonating the nuke in the atmosphere where radiation can drift and kill people instead of pushing it into space and aiming it towards the sun. Watch Superman 4, people. You can save lives and ruin your Sunday afternoon all in one big swoop.
You killed them!
I didn't mean to, but now they won't hurt anyone else.
Using kids' logic to explain murder. Also, the Mahler twins are just clones. I believe they won't be back as much as I believed the show had actually killed off Duplicate.
People kill each other all the time, and most people aren't even special like us.
You sound just like Dad.
Invincible is shocked that a child sounds like his or her father. Invincible doesn't genetics correctly.
This is a weird first date.
Most likely because Mark decided the date should be he and Eve sitting on a back porch. At least order a pizza, asshat.
You wash, I dry?
Owning a dishwasher and choosing to wash by hand instead of using the fucking dishwasher. Debbie probably rinses the dishes before even putting them in the dishwasher. I don't want to hate Debbie, but between this and her giving Paul a second date, this episode isn't helping in that endeavor.
The Mahlers didn't have friends or family.
And you're 100% sure about that? You conducted extensive research on their family tree and personal lives before going into battle with them?
Such a happy family.
Does anyone actually ever fucking die on this show? Might as well have a cliffhanger of Captain Janeway about to be killed. We know you're not killing off Janeway, assholes.
I was promised this world offered worthy opponents.
Previously ons that in no way spoil what to expect from the episode you're about to watch by giving you a seamless and totally not out of context reminder for no reason at all about a cool character that appeared that one time.
Yeah, but I'd forgotten how boring this is.
I don't blame Rex for hating the chore that is grocery shopping. I do blame the episode for thinking that sharing 3 minutes of this chore would make for a satisfying cold open.
Is this a zucchini or a cucumber?
If you have to ask, you're probably not ready to be cooking with either.
I want to buy groceries, prepare a meal, and then eat it.
Rachel appears to be failing at the first hurdle of her plan, considering the items we've seen her put in her basket keep disappearing from scene to scene.
Parmesan cheese. I like cheese. How about I'm in charge of that, okay?
Since there's already a block of cheddar in Rachel's basket, I'd suggest what they really need is someone to be in charge of mapping their route through the grocery store to prevent revisiting the same aisles. Also, this list does not say Parmesan anywhere.
So someone knows who you really are and where you live?
Wow, this is a surprise. You are usually so careful. I wonder however that could have happened.
Wouldn't this go faster with your undivided attention?
This is about analysis, not attention.
But doesn't a proper and thorough analysis require full attention? Non sequitur responses like this are infuriating and unfunny. In addition, bananas.
And it is not the only pressing issue on my plate.
Don't do that. It's creepy.
Speaking through multiple bodies is part of Rudy's power, so it feels kind of icky to hear it shut down like this. I think it's weird that you transform into the monster during training exercises, even though it keeps making you younger, but that's a thought I keep in my head. Almost always.
Tell me you're not about to do what I think you're about to do.
Saying this, and therefore guaranteeing a smash cut to the thing you think he's going to do but shouldn't, but does anyway. Remember that Sonic thing that had Mark terrified to be anywhere near Cecil? Well, Mark apparently doesn't, or does and doesn't care anymore, which makes me wonder why I should.
What are you doing here, Mark? Other than costing taxpayers millions of dollars.
Since you have the means to immediately immobilize Mark and choose to send in the metallic meat puppets anyway, I think that fiscal oversight is on you, Cecil.
If we wanted to spy on you, you'd never know it.
The previous 2 seasons where the Graysons caught you spying on them would seem to disprove this statement.
Jesus, look at this mess.
I repeat, a mess that you let happen. If you don't have the Eiffel Tower in the background of your date in Paris, are you even on a date in Paris?
We found him! I told you all that research would pay off.
They've come from a dystopian future where society has collapsed, and yet they managed to find some kind of record of Mark being on a date with Eve at this exact time in this exact location? I mean, maybe that's true, but I can think of locations that required less research. Like, I don't know, 2 minutes after you left him the first time?
Invincible, you have to come with us right now. It's life and death. There's no time to explain.
Time travelers who say, there's no time to explain. You're picking the exact moment that you're traveling back in time. This can take weeks and you'd still be fine.
If it's a time machine, can't you come back later or earlier?
We only have enough power for this last trip.
Time machines with energy sources that conveniently swat away all those pesky time travel questions.
Where the hell did you take me? We told you! The future!
Thinking this isn't in any way helpful. I'm pretty sure Mark was wanting something a touch more specific, you lead-burying plot-iders.
Wow, you just have that on all the time?
Dropkick would have a stupid name at Sudden Superhero Apparel Sins.
Then something changed. We don't know what happened exactly. It was before our time.
Sure, the downfall of society isn't the subject of public knowledge or ancestral campfire storytelling, but the location of Mark's second first date with Eve a few hundred years earlier is right there if you look hard enough.
When he personally took 10 cities off the map for resisting? That's when the rebellion was born.
That's when the rebellion was born? After 10 cities were nuked? The work camps, illegal imprisonment, the robot guards, those didn't trigger anything? No wonder you're desperate. This is a rebellion of procrastinators.
We tried to stop him, but he was too strong.
This flashback does a lot to hide the identity of the king, presumably, so we'll assume it's Nolan. But we've never seen Immortal use this signature Viltrumite finger-slashing tactic, which makes this a misdirectional step too far by my completely arbitrary and subject to change misdirectional bullshit-o-meter.
I built a time machine, so we could look for solutions in the past.
Looking to the past for answers instead of visiting your future selves and asking them how you saved the day. Also, how did time travel lead to them stealing the Declaration of Independence? There has to be a rational explanation. I'm sure they wouldn't just use their limited time jumps unless they had a really good rationale.
There was a legend that ink from the Declaration of Independence could make a poison to kill him.
Fucking what now? Sorry, I'm not done with this one. I can't believe the steal the Declaration of Independence and use its dried ink as poison plan was somehow ranked above coming to Mark for help. Also, if the ink is the thing you need, why wait until 2025 to get it? Why not go further back and get it when it's fresher? If it has to ferment in the glory of a free society, you may have waited too long to pop the cork on this particular vintage.
These are normal robots, right? They're not like sentient or something?
Thing we'll be asking about phones, cars, and marital aids for the foreseeable future somehow makes it into the script.
We don't need you to fight them. We actually want to be captured. It's the fastest way to see the king.
How hard would it have been to set aside the 3 seconds it would take to explain that plan before deciding to do an unannounced point break?
The king took our mother when we were...
Skip. Throne rooms that waste more space than a Republic Senate chamber.
Is it really you?
Waiting 15 minutes to title card. I was completely immersed in this realistic tale of time travel, immortal beings, and magic revolutionary ink until your sudden invincibling just pulled me right out of it.
Only one man alive knows me by that name.
Except you'll later tell us that Mark's family is still alive in this future, so there are clearly more people who know you as immortal.
You look thin, weak. Have you been sick again? I thought they found a cure.
These time travel episodes almost always have this character who nonchalantly drops some shocking future knowledge that may or may not happen now that the timeline has been altered. If you want to shock us with some events yet to come, say something really fucking crazy like, I didn't expect to see you here after that wizard enchanted your spleen and turned you into 1,000 butterflies. How have you been? Go wild. I still won't be invested until I see it for myself.
That's why I set all this in motion.
What do you want me to do?
End my torment.
So let me get this straight. You want to do a time travel episode where Mark is brought to the future and the Immortal is a brutal dictator king of Earth, but he's only a brutal dictator king of Earth so that his Mark will return, kill him, and prevent him from being a brutal dictator king on Earth. And no one will be able to question the many logical holes in this plan because the toll of immortality has made him a complete Looney Tunes branded unreliable narrator. Because you want Mark to pull his head off? And you want to do it all in 16 minutes? No. The writer's room conversation that never took place but probably should have. Also, what's wild is that the bonkers plan of trying to attract future Mark's attention is only 5% as improbable as attracting the attention of a Mark from the past who has no clue any of this is happening. In other words, this works.
I can't believe they thought 2 guards would be enough for us.
Premature escape abration.
End my suffering and the suffering of this planet.
No, just quit.
A king cannot quit.
That is some weak excuse making there. You can totally quit. We even have a word for it. It's abdicating. We just collectively pretend it's not an option because historically, shooting our way to freedom makes for better Broadway musicals.
Just throw yourself into the sun or something.
Suicide is a coward's disguise.
I can't figure out what this fight has more of, punches or yeah buts regarding the dozen or so more logical ways the script admits Immortal could have handled this.
I'll prove to you who I've become.
Dumb name number 1 and dumber name number 2 are smart enough to invent time travel, but stupid enough to not realize there's nothing they can add to this fight other than 2 liabilities for Mark.
I didn't know it was going to be like that.
Asking someone to commit murder and then being surprised when that murder is gruesome.
His reign is over. Authority is now transferred to the people.
At least he did that before he died.
He said, acknowledging the convenience on my behalf.
There's just one more thing you need to do.
Remember when Dropkick said,
"We only have enough power for this last trip."
Well, it's interesting that he also factored this completely unplanned bootstrap gag into those fuel efficiency calculations.
I still killed him.
But it sounds like he was ready to go.
No, it sounded like the curse of immortality had started to seriously affect his mental health, and maybe he wasn't in his right mind to make a call like this. I would say there are at least several steps on a mental health journey that should be seriously entertained before a treatment plan of detaching the patient's brain from their body, Eve.
And if you ever turn into a giant world-conquering I will kick your ass until you're back in line.
The fact that the nature of the show doesn't preclude a literal interpretation of this prediction. Caring enough about the Declaration of Independence to return it, but not enough to return it in a way that would prevent immediate theft again. Wow, that was a short episode. Looks like it's clocking off time early for old narrating man here. I can finally catch up on Severance or...
And so, dear audience, we once again turn our attention elsewhere.
Damn it! You see, this is why people do a Severance.
Alan the alien, locked down, but not out.
We all loved the this missive, this machination thing from last season. Well, I didn't, but I don't love anything, so I wouldn't use me as an enjoyment barometer. Anyway, some of you loved it, but does it really make sense here? We've already had an update with Alan this season. We saw him talking to Nolan and taking a laser beam to the chest. Did we need that in those episodes? Could we not have seen it all here? Hell, why did we squeeze the episode where Mark travels to a dystopian future and kills the Immortal into 26 minutes? That's a whole season of content there. I think someone might be overestimating how much we love Alan the alien and or Seth the Rogan.
But first, a brief recap for those of you with short attention spans.
Thinking that 2 previously ons per episode is the best way to discourage even shorter attention spans.
After that, his executions were put on hold.
All of the creative deaths we see appear to have been easily preventable by simply not being in the room where all the death machinery is.
Help me, Mark, and whatever that other kid's name is, stop the Empire. No.
They had reached an impasse.
The same impasse they reached several episodes ago, which happens to be the same impasse they reached at the end of season 2, which bears a striking resemblance to the impasse Mark and Nolan reached during all of season 2. Safe to say, I am impassably bored with it.
I thought you'd forgotten about me.
Thing J.K. Simmons told the writers after season 2 somehow makes it into the episode.
Do you have anything to say in your defense?
Beating the shit out of the defendant before offering him the ability to present a defense.
May you die with more dignity than you lived.
I am very confused by the Viltrumite justice and penal system. They have to wait for Nolan to fully heal so they can execute him with dignity, but their definition of dignity is beating him senseless while he's chained to the ground? How is this any better than executing his broken body? It's almost like they wanted to give him some extra time so a certain comic relief alien might have a chance to rescue him. Why should we believe any of these weapons can hurt Alan after the montage of zappings we saw earlier? Why can't he just walk through these people? These 2 copy and paste cannon fodder decided that instead of shooting, their best chance at survival was to hope their prisoners were allergic to guns and simply touching them would invoke some kind of anaphylaxis. It's a bold strategy and I do not respect it.
Who possesses the courage to dare free Battle Beast?
Michael f***ing Dorn.
These creatures offer me no challenge whatsoever.
Then why were you stuck in their prison?
And if this conflict brings about the end of my life,
I will savor it all the more.
I was so ready for this to be one of those gags where one of the Viltrumites cuts off his glorious speech mid-sentence and immediately kills him, but confusingly, Battle Beast actually holds his own with the Viltrumites. More than holds his own. And honestly, each time we introduce a creature capable of humbling a Viltrumite in battle, my fear boner loses approximately 20 degrees of elevation. It's starting to look quite sad. You'd think if anyone was able to create a restraint capable of containing a Viltrumite, it would be the Viltrumites. I'm stunned that they haven't invented a thing for this. Wow, that alien made a seal so perfect that the rest of the atmosphere wasn't immediately blown out into space. What a talent. Too bad he won't live long enough to explore other careers as a gasket. Animation's so awesome that YouTube won't allow me to show it in our video or use it as the most epically disgusting thumbnail on the channel, or as we call it at TVSins, doing a hero-gasm. Quick space question, why can we hear Battle Beast in space?
Okay, I'm going to need a little more to go on than an incomplete thought and a mysterious look.
Directors.
There are fewer than 50 pure-blooded Viltrumites left in the universe.
Confirmed. Even when faced with extinction, mustaches make you completely unfuckable. Also, the show finally reveals the one true weakness of the Viltrumites, and it's a population crisis? Okay, green rocks are lame, but I'm really going to struggle to fear the beings who face the same evolutionary roadblock as pandas. Previously on me still not having any idea how Kate and Paul's numbers are generated, what spreadsheet they use to keep track of this, or why their super suits are purple and mauve.
Do you know that dinosaurs had feathers? In movies, they look like lizards.
Fiona needs to update her sources because Jurassic World Dominion found a way and did give some of its dinosaurs feathers. Also, making me taste the words Jurassic World Dominion. Chopped cheese.
What'd I tell you about family time?
Isotope does a I'll just teleport to you so you don't have to come and take a look at this cliche. Showrunner said, draw me up a rotten looking apple. That way the audience will know that even though assholes decay, each spring they sprout up again and grow into beautiful new asshole trees. Prison overcrowding. So whatever clothes he's wearing get copied as well, but not the blood he's wearing? I really would like to know if this is a choice and whether or not he could copy other things, like weapons. And if not, how does one make a curse that specifically limits this ability to textiles? Having an anti-Paul's collar the entire time and just now putting it on him after his attempted escape.
Except I wasn't dead, you idiot.
I'm still pissed you wasted my time with that funeral scene.
You know it's Dad's birthday this week.
Well, I hope he has a happy, plot-convenient, emotional gut punch of a day. Repla kids. Also, this paper people chain should not be surviving this.
You should have come with me.
You left when she was asleep and didn't even wake her to ask. It's kind of hard for her to go with you when she's unconscious.
You really think I could just leave the order? They don't abandon tools they're not done with yet.
Admitting to being a multi-tool.
So many small things in your room.
Ouch. Also using this slow zoom in on a still frame to save time and money, like you pointed out in Season 2, Episode 7. You wanted me to notice, and I did.
Oh, come around and I'll knock on the front door, okay?
We never get to the bottom of the reason why Eve does this instead of going home. At this point, she's not even aware of the pancakes that await her. It's like she wanted to look Debbie in the eyes after taking the Invincible for a spin.
Why'd you fly out of Mark's window if you're just gonna come back and— Ow!
Oliver would be a snitch at TVSins. Cutting your pancakes is some kind of affront to trigonometry.
Mark wasn't sleeping. He and Eve had a sleepover.
It may have some structural issues, but they could have atom smashed in Eve's jungle house before coming to breakfast this morning and avoided this entire mess.
I tried making blueberry pancakes once, but I had way too many blueberries, and then the batter was really soggy, and then the blueberries weren't even sweet.
Eve awkwardly pancakes on for all the some time, thinking that will distract Debbie from thinking about how she and Mark awkwardly pancaked on for all the some time.
You're both adults and free to make your own choices.
Well, they're 19, which means they can take on thousands of dollars in crippling college loan debt, but not drink beer. So yes, but only with a road trip to Canada or Mexico.
He can fly, he's got super strength, and he's practically invulnerable.
You know what you've done.
I'm the owner of a private security firm. We're called...
Oh, right off with this business card title carding. Get it? Like Invisible ink? Do you get it? Hold on. I don't get it.
You failed!
The all too familiar words I heard in chemistry, algebra, French, and somehow homeroom make it into the episode.
I don't even know how to set up my email.
I was all in on tearing down Invincible's heroic image this season, but this feels excessive.
Last guy who went up against Liu got eaten. Came out as f***ing dragon shit.
The only plausible way this anecdote makes sense is if you waited around long enough for Liu to complete digestion so you could watch the finale. Invincible really thinks Oliver can get hurt skateboarding after watching him get his face smashed into the ground by a Mauler twin in episode 3 of this season.
Why the hell are you purple?
None of these kids responds with, "Why is your mom purple?" Trying to make a subtle nod to the difference in Ray's character from the comics, only for me to give you a subtle sin for taking me out of the story. Rex gives no instructions, so he got lucky that this was interpreted as an invitation, and Ray didn't just say, "Cool drawing," and go back to bed.
You said it was something you wanted to do.
Actually, she said,
"I want to buy groceries, prepare a meal, and then eat it."
You cut her out of the first 2 parts of her plan.
Full disclosure, it's from a meal kit.
Which in no way diminishes the effort needed. You realize this after about 3 or 4 boxes when the excitement of almost adulting wears off. You bust open that package only to realize that there's still cooking to do and decide to order Domino's instead. Blowing dust all over your date and their food.
1762?
Such a good year.
Very true. It was the year of the first recorded mention of the sandwich concept, which would have gotten a sin removed if it wasn't attributed to the Earl of Sandwich.
My own personal Judas.
Machine Head encounters an error while trying to enter Depeche Mode.
You had a visit from an old guy with metal teeth and a bodyguard the size of Nebraska, except they're not from Nebraska.
Because it is well known in the Invincible universe that if you're the size of a place, then you are most likely from that place. It's how places and sizes work.
There's always a bigger thumb.
Title of my sex tape?
You're sure he was having fun?
Yeah, Mom. I know what fun looks like.
To be clear, the kind of fun your mother knows you're having is very different than skateboarding.
Whoa. Titan.
If Invincible didn't recognize Titan until he was 10 feet away, I'm going to recommend a visit to the...
This is still some bullshit.
If only you had an assistant with the ability to teleport you anywhere instantly. Then you could avoid living someone else's dream.
Don't even start with me. Come on. Taking you to prison.
Titan lays out a compelling argument about why the neighborhood is better off with him there, and Invincible decides to be an ignorant jerk-ass instead of opening his eyes to the fact that making the world a better place may not be as simple as locking up everyone he thinks is a criminal. It actually would be a very good story arc if it ever revealed in which high school class he learned so much about RICO law.
Isotope.
He didn't have to teleport behind Mr. Liu so he could make this dramatic "you've been double-crossed" reveal, but Isotope did it for the audience anyway, because he is first and foremost a showman. Being a dragon with a talking head that is bored under punches.
You f***ing dragon!
Very simple, but satisfying.
And R.I.P. Titan.
If there was ever a show that I know would show the death of a person falling from a very high building, it would be this one. Your quick cut back to Isotope immediately gave away the twist.
We're in a relationship now.
Skip. Eve can manifest matter, right? So I go with these panes of pink energy glass. Also, Dragon Man doesn't fly around the panes of pink energy glass. Straining too hard when you're trying to force out a paw is how you get a hemorrhoid. The paw in the center survives this, even though my cursory understanding of neck physics tells me his throat should have been crushed along with all the sacrificial paws.
You're a fictional creature, dude.
Dragon is no more fictional than the kaiju I've seen you and Omni-Man fight in previous seasons, dude.
Ew. I'm taking you to jail.
But he's already at the jail. Is this some kind of threat to pick Titan up and carry him 5 feet to the left?
The warden thinks we did an acceptable job after I helped rebuild the damage to her prison.
Letting a first-year architecture student rebuild a prison.
It feels nice living with the little brother, you know?
It's only been 3 months. Let's revisit this convo when your brother farts on your pillow right before bed.
Oh, it's my pancakes, isn't it?
For me, it's most definitely Debbie's pancakes.
I'd say in terms of growing up, you're doing just fine.
Premature celebration. Not explaining to me how this guy's balls aren't dry. I mean, his eyeballs.
Smarter than you think, even for someone who's 50% rock.
Careful, you're going to anger 100% of the rock. Doing this instead of just leaving a simple note. All this confirms is that scissoring occurred. Having breath so bad it can reanimate a corpse.
Are you kidding? 10's a big year.
The ridiculous emphasis we put on a child's age just because they've reached double digits. Scott stands in front of windows exploding without a single glass shard skewering him. Is Scott also... Hold on. Superheroes battling and destroying a city and motivating a man to become a vigilante in the process? Where have I seen this before? Oh yeah, this is the opening scene to Batman v Superman. Well, if you're gonna steal, steal from the best. Wait. Invincible feeling the need to show us disembodied parts to make us understand the gravity of the situation. We understood said gravity seeing Jessica and Gretchen's apartment building come down with them still inside of it. You don't have to show the actual going into the suitcase. Do you hear me, White Lotus Season 1?
District Attorney Barnett. Sorry to ambush you like this, but you weren't returning my calls or my emails.
Saying you're sorry that you're doing the thing that you're doing when you're really not sorry. Just say, F you for not returning my stalking level set of attempts to previously get a hold of you. So now I'm going to make it so much weirder by confronting you alone in a parking garage. See? How hard was that? Littering. Being forced to witness previously on Invincible segments while you're at work all day.
Someone here isn't an Invincible fan.
Based on the 6.5 minutes I've spent with Scott, I'm not sure how this is news to the smarmy coworker sitting across from him. Also, why are those slices of cake so close to the sandwiches? Do you want cross-cake contamination in your BLT? Because this is how you get cross-cake contamination in your BLT. And sometimes ants.
You gotta look out for other people.
I did. He didn't hit anyone.
No, but I have a feeling the owner of the car Oliver just totaled will not take the, well, at least no one got hurt or killed apology too well.
He hates listening to me so much.
Siblings.
Will people here ever forgive him?
Will Oliver ever f***ing stop asking this question in a season 3 episode of Invincible? Skip.
So he never gets to say he's sorry? He's a bad guy forever?
That's not what Mark's saying.
That's exactly what Mark is saying.
Your mom was really smart and brave.
Was? It's been 3 months. I know Thraxans only live a year, but she could still be alive and rebuilding her planet as an elder. Not to mention enjoying her life more since, unlike us, she doesn't have to put up with Oliver.
Powerplex, will make you pay!
That was much better this time.
Weirdest role-playing ever. Having schematics without red string held together by tacks all over it. Do you even know how to schematic, Scott? Scott having zero concerns about getting his deposit back. You've got a kid to feed. Any money helps.
Since Mark dropped out, I need college updates from someone.
Shaming your son's educational choices at the dinner table. These people are still washing dishes by hand even though we know they have a dishwasher.
Come here.
Ooh.
Kids. Okay, I need to step back and talk about how amazing this scene's composition is. The clouds, Scott's mindset, the music, the layout. It's one of the reasons I keep coming back to this show over and over. The animators constantly knock visuals out of the park. So go ahead, take one sin off before I see Scott's eyebrows again.
Remind me why I'm letting William humiliate me like this again?
Because he's the show's token sassy gay friend and the writers didn't know what to do with him this season, so he became the equivalent of your cousin who always wants to go bowling in Grand Theft Auto 4.
Some crazy supervillain's freaking out downtown.
Bowling alley news position. Are we not safe anywhere from news position? Can we not have one news position free night to bowl and eat whatever this is with the cheese all over it?
This is about the thousands of people.
This flashing back and forth to the Invincible logo is very clever, and I applaud the show for it. However, Invincible might also be a dick to anyone prone to seizures.
What do I want? I want the truth. I want justice.
Not picking tangible demands. Maybe lead off with a pizza next time.
I want things too.
Same. I want to understand why when the Guardians of the Globe could send whomever they wanted to a supervillain battle, they chose to send Shapesmith all by himself.
I'm Shapesmith, beloved member of the Guardians of the Globe, defeater of evil and friend to small animals, but not cats, everywhere.
Shapesmith is not immediately awarded the Medal of Honor for his absolutely correct feline take in this scene.
The Powerplex guy just killed one of the Guardians of the Globe.
He did not. And am I sinning this show for not finally ridding us of Shapesmith? Yes. Yes, I am.
I warned him. I said I didn't want to fight.
That is not a warning. That is a declaration.
They didn't follow you home.
Powerplex wasn't immediately tracked by the government following his attempted murder of a Guardian of the Globe.
The GDA knows one of us in the lab stole the discs, and they'll figure out it was me.
God didn't seem too concerned about this when he tested out his powers earlier in public. How did the GDA not get wind of that?
If we're teleporting or something, I have to say, that might be a bit much for me.
Complaining about free transportation. f***ing Paul. How exactly are they planning on landing the car without anyone noticing that someone who looks an awful lot like Mark Grayson flew it in? How does anyone not know that Mark Grayson is invincible?
What's that?
Lost time, I hope.
Well, not really. It doesn't retrieve all the aging monster girl has lost through the years. It just keeps her from losing more time in the future. It'd be more accurate to call it a chronological seatbelt.
All these weeks, you've been working on a belt?
It's an advanced genomic engine, actually. Monster, please.
Pausing your important scientific analysis to ask for an energy drink. Can it wait 5 minutes, Rudy?
No de-aging detected.
Wait, does that mean?
It means the show just buried the resolution to Amanda and robots finding a fix for Amanda's de-aging curse storyline in a random episode that wasn't focused on them at all. Amanda and robot deserve better.
I'm not crazy, right? There was a thing between us.
Episode has time for this.
Come and face Powerplex!
Defacing the memorial partially dedicated to your lost sister and niece.
I didn't hurt anyone.
Thinking the psychological trauma you caused for a bunch of people mourning their lost loved ones doesn't count as hurting people. I know Powerplex getting hit allows him to turn kinetic energy into electricity, but does it boost his physical strength as well? He straight up threw a fully grown armored man into another car with one arm. Reading. Eve's powers continue to get more and more confusing. Either she can create anything out of thin air like she does here with the flowers, or she needs something physical to manipulate the molecular structure. Pick a lane.
Of all the times to quit, why did it have to be when we were just about to start dating?
If this is Rex's takeaway from Ray's current internal struggle that is obviously bothering her very deeply, why does Ray want to date Rex again? Why does anyone ever want to date Rex? Might be the series' biggest mystery, actually. It's way more intriguing than whatever Angstrom Levy is up to behind the scenes.
I spent months in the hospital after a lizard man tried to eat me. I don't want to go back out there and just wait for it to happen again, because it's going to happen again.
I feel like eliminating missions that involve reptile people solves this problem rather quickly. Does Ray even know how to mathematics?
Yeah, well, then I guess you don't know me as well as you think you do.
I mean, she probably doesn't. They've known each other for what, a month? 2 at most? And they had one dinner together? Why is this episode acting like these two have been fighting will they or won't they vibes for the past 3 years?
Apparently, he's been tracking you for months.
How are Cecil and company just figuring all this out now? I refuse to believe that as paranoid as Cecil is, he wouldn't have sniffed this guy out sooner. Like, the GDA had to monumentally fail for all of these things to happen. The hiring, the assigning research, the theft, the obsession. I just don't buy it.
Invincible! I try to keep this between us.
This episode is 37% Scott threatening Invincible on the news.
So I took a page from your book.
I seem to have not read the book where Invincible tied up his family members and pretended they were innocent victims to lure out someone he wanted to fight to the death. I kind of want to read it now, though. The execution of Scott's arc in this episode is something else. His determination to stop the ones he deems responsible for loss in his life has caused him to become exactly what he detests, and it's cost him even more loss that he is 100% responsible for. It's not a new or original arc, but it is well written and well acted, and it just kind of fucking rocks. But also, Scott's wife should have known to get out of the way. Scott clearly had the high ground.
Sooner or later, I'll find my way free. And then I will find you.
Stealing Your Threats from Liam Neeson.
This will do.
Oh, cool. We get Angstrom for another season finale showdown. I'm super excited to see him again. Just so very excited. Brace yourself, Cinnies, because I'm coming in hot on this one. Mark f***ed up Angstrom so much that there isn't a way to make this blurring make any contextual sense and still be on YouTube. And that's damning evidence number 1 for the incredible levels of survives this that we're being forced to swallow. Next up, Angstrom surviving Mark's pummeling has pissed me off so much that I wrote 2 different sins about it. In these situations, I usually pick my favorite, but I'm so vexed that the show is getting it with both sin barrels. There are bits of Angstrom's think meat here, over there, and here. If he can survive this, there's just no reason for me to believe anyone can ever be killed. You could literally explode someone's skeleton from the inside out, and I still won't believe they can't be brought back thanks to this right here. I'm not even going to mention how it undermines at least 25% of the, oh, boo-hoo, I killed the bad man, soul-searching that Mark spent the entire fucking season doing. Sorry, turns out I will be mentioning it. I suppose it's just sheer luck that the one piece of brain left unfucked inside the shattered chasm that was once Angstrom's skull just happens to be the part that controls his index finger and portal powers. Again, I can't show you any of this shit, so you're just going to have to watch it yourself or believe me, but some of his brain bits were 100% disconnected from his body in this shot, and yet this puddle of blood shows no sign of those bits, suggesting they were somehow still sinuously, not a word, I don't care, still attached to his pulpy parietal lobe, or they just magically crawled with him through the portal. Ooh, the spooky camera ball looked directly at us, the audience. But we're above it, so what's it looking at in universe? The sun? A humorously phallic cloud?
That Powerplex guy will finally get the help he needs in prison.
This level of radically naive optimism.
Why don't you want me to meet your parents?
Skip.
For the first time in my whole miserable life, I'm kind of in a good place.
Premature content with life vibration. Does Rex vaporize his clothes every time he suits up? Damn it, he could hire a personal chef for the money he wastes on replacing needlessly exploded clothes. Would have saved us an entire scene of grocery shopping too. Also, what are the logistics of Rey's suit up? Her costume goes up to her neck and has a headpiece, neither of which were visible in her civilian clothes and appear to have been excreted from her skin mid-transformation.
You can't unquit on your first day.
Yeah, unquitting is for quitters. Wait, what?
Check this shit out.
Rex uses an explosion to propel himself onto the streetlight, but where the f does he go after that? He doesn't do the same thing for his next leap, so the only dialogue that follows this should have been,
I think my legs might be broken, but I'll try to stand up. Ah!
I'll be right back.
Oh, for Lillard's sake, did we really just give Rex an I'll be right back? The 1850s called and they want their obnoxiously obvious telegraph machine back. Man, this fight could go on for hours and hours considering they're the same person, and we've seen Mark take a lot of... Oh, that was easy. Well, I'm glad the show explains why this Mark wasn't remotely a challenge for our Mark. Clearly it was the Mohawk.
There's another one!
Yay! New heroes! New heroes whose powers I absolutely understand and am excited for. Go Man with Mallet, and Blue Cape Guy, and gender-swapped Ivan Drago? Yup. I sure know how to feel about this fight.
We'll keep broadcasting as long as we can.
This level of radically persistent news position.
Mom, please. They need me.
I know Debbie's dealing with a lot, but she was relatively quick to send a child into a f***ing war zone. Yes, a superpowered child, but a child who has had limited training, has not matured yet, and is by no means...
I'm going somewhere safe.
She is not. In fact, she'll flat out decline to be taken somewhere safe by the National Guard later on. The only reason she survives is because of the sheer luck that none of the other Invincibles had moms who dated Paul.
You guys got this?
So I guess we're just skipping the part where they decided to believe that this Mark is a good Mark and not a bad Mark. Must be the lack of a mohawk. Cecil sure is lucky that the multiverse, in its quite literal infinite wisdom, decided that all of these Marks would have the same sonic vulnerability.
There is some good news, sir. This Invincible definitely wasn't as strong as ours.
And maybe we have a chance.
That is wildly naive. There's no reason to believe that all 18 alternate Marks are weaker. Unless Donald's deduced they're in an animated Amazon Prime simulation and the Marks need to be weaker for the plot, of course. I'm honestly fine with animation shortcuts. I mean, I'll point them out, sure, but they don't really keep me up at night. But I do end up scratching my head when you choose to animate one block of white for a character's front teeth, but go full T2 skull for the exposed molars. Suspenseful black screen maniacal laugh. Suspenseful black screen maniacal laugh.
Invincible!
Knowing there are multiple evil Invincibles around the world and being convinced that the first one you find is your brother. It's almost like preteens shouldn't be combatants in an active war zone.
And then we have to figure out who did this.
There's only one person who could have done this.
Grossly misunderstanding how multiverses work, especially when you're the one heading into battle against multiple versions of the same person. And before politely leaving any corrections in the comments, please see our terms and conditions. Terms and conditions include my acknowledgement that yes, this Angstrom is the only Angstrom with portal power, and yes, I know he absorbed all the other Angstroms, but since Mark is an expert in multiversal things, he shouldn't assume that there aren't more Angstroms out there, or more superhumans with the ability to traverse multiverses at will, and yes, I'm sure the answer is in the comics, and no, I won't be reading them, and also I don't care, and also I can't believe you took the time to rewind this and play at slower speed, you absolute beautiful nerd, go drink some water. The transparent honesty that comes along with this aerial view of a classic fighting one at a time instead of all at once cliche is appreciated by the jury, but they have been advised to strike it from their memories during sentencing. Face capes.
Finally, a suitable host for Cahor.
Cahoring yourself out to the first guy you see.
Good riddance to you wretched females.
I vaguely remember these people, but not enough to be entertained. I look forward to the day when someone edits all these mummy gags together so I can send them properly instead of arbitrarily. Wow, looks like someone personified the boss baby and made them a hero. I assume to obnoxious their enemies to death? Wonder if Eve is confident that this building has been evacuated, or if she just doesn't care. Don't haphazardly pick up the patient with the broken f***ing leg. Anyway, has to get her away from here, but Mark is so clumsy with her broken leg that I'm on the edge of my seat waiting for the damn thing to fall off.
You can't save her and fight us both.
I have no idea how you could fight them both even if Eve wasn't a problem. Even if they're weaker, that still checks notes. Yup, 2 marks versus 1 mark. Deus Ex Meet Robotina. A couple of episodes, we saw Multipole do some incredibly inventive shit to get out of prison. So why are we stuck with Kate choosing to send her duplicates in one at a time? And why are we only seeing a handful of them? Mark Astic should be drowning in dead Kates right now.
I don't want to be locked away as long as they're broadcasting updates.
Assuming the National Guard won't have televisions wherever they're taking you. Or, you know, that your cell phone will stop existing.
All of my important organy parts are lumped together in a thing called a core. Since it didn't get punched to goop, I'll eventually be able to pull myself together. Was that too much information?
Yes.
No, don't! Get Amanda and Rex out of here!
Huh?
Exposing your teammate's surprise attack.
We're not leaving you! No! It's okay! I got a plan!
Fortunately, alternate color schemed Mark will happily stand here and pretend to be bothered by these explosions while I explain that plan and emotionally implore you to leave. He's evil, but he's really good about giving a scene room to breathe.
I'm gonna pop your head off, and then I'm gonna catch the others and skin them alive.
Villain is ultimately foiled because they decide to spell out the long list of evil things they're planning to do instead of prioritizing the first evil thing on the list.
You're out of shit to explode.
I've got one thing left. My entire goddamn skeleton.
I understand precious few of the superpowers in this show, but I thought I had a handle on Rex's. But why the f does he have to hold on to his skeleton? Why can't he just touch his skin, which is tangentially connected to his skeleton, I believe, and blow that up? Why can't he touch monologuing Mark's uniform and blow that up? Basically, I think that someone loved the idea of Rex fist-sploding his skeleton and forbade further discussion. Showing a Donald with half of his body, but not even a quarter of the fight that got him there.
Mark, Oliver's out there. Your mother is out there.
I said no!
Cecil takes this long to realize the power of boners is a much more cost-effective weakness to exploit than the noisemakers.
Phase 1 is complete. Meet me you know where.
I'm saying you know where so that any eavesdroppers don't know where we're meeting, but since we're meeting at Mark's f***ing house, and that's possibly the most obvious place in the multiverse to meet, I feel pretty stupid. Look, a few months ago, my brains resembled a purified lasagna, so just give me a f***ing break.
Every single person who survives will forever think of this when they remember his name, even if they know it was you.
That is such an oddly specific way to take revenge on Mark, and it's not even guaranteed. I mean, sure, there's going to be trauma, but he already has a complicated legacy thanks to his dad. I doubt this latest f***ery is tipping people one way or the other, especially since he's actively saving Earth from all the Malmarks. Besides, how much satisfaction is Angstrom possibly getting from people hating Mark via osmosis? Also, remember when Invincible changed his costume this season and nobody knew who he was? They thought he was a brand new hero, so there's a good chance most people don't even realize what Angstrom is hoping they realize.
I came here to find Mom and bring her back with me. We're all the same person. I'm sure I'm not the only one.
They're genetically the same person, but all of them have been shaped by decades of different experiences in their own universes. There's no reason to think any of them share love for their Debbie when they've been cherry-picked as the evilest Marks in the multiverse. I mean, look at Mohawk Mark. He clearly doesn't have anyone in his life who loves him.
Angstrom!
Don't worry, guys. You can look forward to your new role as background cameos in the next Deadpool joint.
We found him.
Pronoun gaming at the end of the world. Angstrom is using all the balls at his disposal to push Mark into a portal, and it's almost working. But can't he just bring the portal forward a few inches, or place it under where Mark is standing and just let gravity do the hard work? Also, is this really what we brought Angstrom back from the dead for? So we could watch Mark play with his balls? Also, I guess we're just going to assume Angstrom has access to advanced technology and use that tech to create 100 billion gazillion balls instead of one of a dozen other gadgets I can think of that would be so much better at strong-arming Mark into a portal. A literal strong arm would be better.
Do it! Kill him! Before he escapes or something!
Oliver's right. It'd be extremely unsatisfying if Angstrom managed to survive a second encounter with Invincible. Like, I just can't even begin to tell you how frustrated I'd be. Thank God that never happens.
All I can think about is how I should have killed him.
You probably should have, but you can't blame yourself for being a good person, Mark.
But Mark didn't stop because he was a good person. He stopped because the ground where Angstrom's face used to be was hurting his knuckles. Yes, I am, of course, irritated that replacing the sign has taken any sort of priority over repairing the Pentagon itself or any part of the currently wrecked major cities. But I'm more mad that it implies there's a functioning parking lot, which means that too took priority over repairing the building people would be parking their cars to be in.
No, I'm done. I've given this world enough.
Oh no, whatever will the world do without the guy who always gets his head chopped off? How will the human survive without immortal, regularly losing fights?
If something big comes up, call me.
Title of my sex tape?
I am Conquest.
Wonder why they call him that.
So the only thing I want to do right now is hit something as hard as I can.
Good.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan plays a villain in a comic book adaptation. Cliché. Also, Invincible thinking a Glenn Negan rematch will result in our collective nerdgasm instead of a collective fetal positioning. I can still see that fucking eyeball, guys. Every night since 2016. He's still in there.
Kill him!
Kids, not doing the usual game of title card cat and mouse because now you want to be taken seriously. Even though that building exploded, episode can't prove that the landlord still didn't raise the rent.
The truth is, I want you to resist.
Triggering a flashback to the time I got tased and wet myself.
I'm not here to save you. I'm not here to spread the greatness of the Viltrum Empire.
Villain monologues about all the things that aren't a part of their plan.
To me, there is no greater pleasure than feeling the warmth of my fists drenched in blood.
The power of murder boners.
I want more!
Don't worry, Jeffrey Dean Morgan. This show can't bear to part with a good villain. I'm positive you'll get more. Pausing in the middle of fighting a Viltrumite to audition for the Blue Angels.
Huh?
Conquest is great. Is the show saying that an 18-wheeler's horn will go off if you crash into it hard enough, or that someone was in that truck and thought honking the horn was going to make a difference?
If that's all you got, this is just not gonna end well for you.
Well, that is basically the Invincible season finale cookbook. It's one part Mark gets his ass beat, one part he is emotionally broken, and 4 or 5 parts teasing the events of next season. Bon appetit.
You have no idea how dense their muscle tissue is.
This is true, but Cecil doesn't specifically need androids as much as he needs a weapon. If you have a tool that can cut through these dead Invincible's muscle tissue, why can't you make a weapon to use against them?
Again? We just went through all this bullshit.
Thing I said when Angstrom Levy reappeared in the last episode somehow makes it into this episode.
Paid for by my tax dollars.
Grumpy middle-aged person says something, something, something taxes. Cliché.
You can't even walk yet.
Do I look like I need to walk?
Getting me pumped up to see Adam Eve burst out of the hospital to go enter the fight, only to follow that up with a scene of her asking Cecil for permission.
Eat one, you old sack of turds.
As far as one-liners go, I give that a solid number 2. Also, in a way, we are all sacks of turds. And now I'll have to burn at least 5 minutes pondering that every time I'm on the poop gullet.
No matter, I'll eat your heart instead.
Following Mola Ram's keto diet.
I can rearrange matter, Cecil.
True, but you mostly only ever use your power to make pink glass. Repeating the Nolan Massacre from Season 1, only this time without the fun of public transit. Ultramite Bones have the most confusing physics. This karate chop breaks his leg when the opening punch that caused a shockwave broke nothing.
What?
I increase the density of the air.
A neat trick with fascinating implications that will never be used again.
I've got all kinds of tricks.
Said before doing the same pink lantern bullshit over and over again. Water? Water? Why not acid? Or jello? Or a billion ants?
So pretty. Such a waste.
Sir, you are like 10,000 years old. How do you not get gross old man out of your system before the end of your first millennium?
I was ordered to take control of Earth by any means necessary.
In these types of shows, the any means necessary seems to always be interpreted as punch, kick, punch, flying kick, flying punch, kick, headbutt. Now, it would be less fun to watch, but wouldn't it have been easier to just destabilize the economy by introducing an advanced technology that humanity wasn't prepared for and then swoop in to pick up the pieces after it all goes belly up? As a completely random example that I have not put too much thought into.
You did something to piss us off, and I thank you for it.
Being effusive to the point that it starts to feel disingenuous.
No one wants to be my friend. They think I am unstable. They send me from planet to planet committing atrocities in their name.
This monologue is so good, and Jeffrey Dean Morgan's casting as Conquest is so perfect that my only option here is a... flashing dirty grandpa as if that won't encourage his bad behavior. Going full Hans Christian Andersen with this Viltrumite has no skin or penis.
Is this what you wanted?
Episode has crossed the boundary of what we could possibly show and is now just beating its head against a dead horse over and over and over and over again. Mark doesn't learn from his mistake with Angstrom that it doesn't matter if you beat someone to a literal pulp. The writers will find a way to bring them back.
I love you.
Skip.
Almost dying was stressful enough to allow me to rebuild my entire body.
Show created a convenience so massive that they wrote an entire Invincible Adam Eve special, hoping that that would be enough backstory for us not to sin it.
We're gonna do it anyway!
I would have died without you.
Citation needed. In this shot, Eve's hair is hanging over the side of the bed, but in the top-down shot, it's pulled away from the edge. Thought we wouldn't notice, but we did. What the dentist sees when they're making small talk that you can't possibly reciprocate.
Instead of dinner and a movie, I think we'll be working tonight.
I gathered.
Episodes do have time for this when they finish the big final fight with over 10 minutes left in the episode.
My staff can barely keep him in bed.
Title of my sex tape?
Burn it.
Mark doesn't fly that body to the sun and burn it himself.
To honor my friend and everything he meant to me, I am changing my name from Rudy to Rex.
Yeah, no, that's just weird. You've already stolen his body and now you're stealing his name? I don't know why everyone seems cool with this. You should have run that by a few folks first.
Rexplode was my first.
Whoa, this is a funeral, Eve.
I just can't believe that he's gone.
I can't believe it either. I think it has to do with the fact that the scene where Rex exploded cut to a wide shot of the bridge, so we only saw the explosion from far away. I'm pretty sure this amount of discharge means you should see a doctor and probably use protection. The Sequids are back! Awesome! I'm so excited by how this show keeps recycling villains. It's not at all boring. Visual confirmation that the character no one thought died is not dead.
That is only the beginning of the delights we will achieve together.
Does Clive Barker know you're trying to weave your show into the Hellraiser franchise?
He's in a 400-ton block of tungsten steel alloy 6 miles underground. If he so much as twitches, this whole place explodes.
Placing a big bet on Conquest not twitching, yawning, or farting when he wakes up.
So if anyone else ever puts my family or anyone I love at risk, I won't hesitate to kill them.
Premeditating murder.
Before I recall how I long to savor the gnashing of flesh in my putrid maw.
Knowing your maw is putrid and not going to see a dental hygienist.
First one's free. Then what I say? I said I will shut that down.
Why do you care so much? You used to date Eve.
I'm happy, so I no longer feel the need to go out of my way to stop others from being happy.
Wally. Eve.
How does a nobody like Doc Seismic pull shit like this?
This is merely superconductor electromagnetism. Surely you've heard of it.
Then they say firing was not enough. Let's prosecute you for negligence. Then I go to jail. My wife leaves me. My daughter becomes a prostitute. I wind up on death row, sharing a cell with Butch McDick.
Can we just talk about this before we,
No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
I hate birds. They're so useless. This is Stedman.
I am so sick of hearing about Chet Stedman.
You forget the simple power of the human body.
That is power.
Leave me, Stedman. That's an order.
You're gonna be okay.
They're going to bury what's left of you in a soup can.
I don't mind being short, fat, and ugly, but the pay sucks.
Can you tell I haven't been out on a date in 20 years?
You Googled me. F***ing internet.
Cecil Stedman, director of the Global Defense Agency.
What if I told you we were putting a team together?
Have you ever tried simply turning off the TV, sitting down with your children, and hitting them?
You make a loop-de-loop and pull.
Those people who depend on you, your mom, Oliver, me, we're also here for you to depend on us. You're not alone.
Let's hope.
There was so much blood.
The bunk beds were a terrible idea. Why did you let us do that?
Nukes don't go off from impact, idiot.
I'm an idiot.
They've downgraded us.
Ooh, the brunch downgrade. Been there.
Do you concur that it's time we control the world?
Concur with what, sir?
There are some who call me Tim.
You can either help or you can, I don't know, go do something else.
Don't go far.
Okay.
There was a legend that ink from the Declaration of Independence could make a poison to kill him.
Absurd.
You ever fired your gun up in the air and gone, ah?
No, I have not ever fired my gun up in the air and gone, ah.
Fatality.
I'm not on your side. I'm not on anyone's side.
Because nobody is on my side.
Oh, man, you look terrible.
Actually, I look like a can of smashed assholes.
It's Bella and Bailey.
Those bitches were absolutely crazy.
The best thing about being me, there's so many of me.
Why did you even rope me into this? Because he roped me into this. Well, him over there, he roped me into this. Well, he roped me into this. Well, what about me? He roped me into this. Well, that one over there roped me into this. Don't tase me, bro. Ow!
Gonna send men for the road.
People like us don't serve sentences.
Yeah, we write them together.
He and Eve had a sleepover.
Oliver, what the hell?
Ow!
Just pounding away in darkness.
If we had a place of our own, we could just...
Bone!
Why the hell are you purple?
You can't just ask people why they're
Purple!
It's a whole new world, baby. It's a whole new world.
Somebody dial 911!
Sorry to ambush you like this, but you weren't returning my calls or my emails.
And you are?
John Cocktoastone.
That they accuse us of making mistakes or losing equipment while heroes like him leave thousands dead in their wake.
Well, someone hibernated on the wrong side of the cave.
You have committed crimes against Skyrim and her people. What say you in your defense?
Dinner's delicious, Paul. Thanks for cooking.
Oh, it was nothing.
I just want to get laid.
What? Who are you?
I'm Batman.
You just gonna sit there, staring at the back of the seat?
I'm kind of in a good place.
You're in the good place.
Oh, You're the me from this world.
Well, if you were me, then I'd be you! And I'd use your body to get to the top. You can't stop me no matter who you are. Yes! I am invincible!
Momentum, a function of mass and velocity, is conserved between portals. In layman's terms, speedy thing goes in, speedy thing comes out.
Stand ready for my arrival, worm.
Pissing our pants yet?
Oh, man, I thought it was a water truck.
Big ass beat down coming out! Does your face hurt?
I've met your father, you know. He showed so much promise when he was younger. And now...
Where were we? Oh, yeah. Your giant man-sized balls.
When you're slapped, you'll take it and like it.
Our guys think you would even take Nolan down. And
You look like death warmed over. Every time I look at you, I lose my fucking appetite.
Mark! I am Phoenix!
Speak, Darkblood. Before I recall how I long to savor the gnashing of flesh in my putrid maw.
Think of the smell. You haven't thought of the smell, you bitch!